Revelation chapter 8 prophesies that a huge meteor will hit the ocean, and it will cause a large tsunami and destroy the ships and the creatures in the sea and poison the waters and darken the sun, the moon, and the stars. The Bible says that this will happen in our generation.
Burning objects raining down from the sky after a meteorite exploded above the Earth, causing a meteor shower.
Right now, what we know from officials, according to officials and eyewitnesses, is that a series of explosions, possibly 5 to 6, took place when this meteor exploded in the air, raining down molten hot debris onto the ground. Now, this has caused widespread panic in at least 3 cities. Witnesses reported the walls of houses shaking, windows being blown out.
NASA never saw it coming, or at least they didn't give us a heads up here. But we've had a meteor come crashing into the earth just off the coast of Australia, there in the Coral Sea. It was a tremendous impact, shaking houses along the Coral Sea there. It affected people all along Queensland. They felt it all up and down the coast there. A tremendous impact. Hundreds of people were calling in. They seen the burning fire, the lamp, the light, the bright light, the explosion, if you will. But really, they felt the shaking. A lot of folks called in and felt like it was a major earthquake. And so this was so here, folks, here we are. I'm telling you. And you guys know I've been sharing it with you. This is just the beginning of sorrows. And we're going to have more of these and more. And they're going to increase. And this is not even the big boys. This isn't the ones that NASA even marks down and tells you we have a near Earth object going by. We're talking 10 days ago, China told us there's a killer asteroid out there that's over a mile wide coming toward us. Wouldn't give us any dates, any times, didn't say how close it's going to come to the Earth or if it's going to hit the Earth. All I know is the White House made an announcement the day before saying an asteroid is going to hit the Earth. It's inevitable. And we also know that earlier this year, the White House opened what they call the Armageddon office and have to deal with incoming asteroids. As a matter of fact, NASA announced that they're sending up a probe in the year 2021. They're going to head it toward an asteroid that they know about that's way out there. They want this probe to come and pick up a boulder right off the surface of the asteroid and then right alongside the asteroid, hoping that the gravitational pull will barely nudge it a little so that by the time it gets here, it misses. The Chinese told us 10 days ago that there was a killer asteroid coming. And they don't know what to do. They told us the name of it even, 2009 ES. But they don't tell us when it's coming, where it's at, how close, will it hit us, nothing. Okay, NASA acknowledges that asteroid exists. We've just had a deep impact. Just hit Australia, just off the coast in the Coral Sea. Matter of fact, there's power outages. Homes were shaken. It registered on the Richter scale. People thought for sure it was a major earthquake. The light flashed, lit up the world, and hundreds of people calling in to the 911, calling into the emergency, calling in everywhere to the media. And we know that Russia's turned their missiles toward the sky. They want to blow the incoming asteroids, which are more and more all the time. This thing wasn't even on the screen. NASA didn't even have this one listed. Okay, guys? Never a straight answer. You have to hear me. We have entered a galactical belt, and there's more and more meteors, asteroids that are on the way. And we're talking some big boys. What do you think the White House last week announced that a deep impact is inevitable? And earlier this year, they opened what they call the Armageddon office. And NASA is sending up a probe in the year 2021 to go way out there and find this huge huge asteroid in which they want to grab a boulder off of it and ride along beside it and hope that the gravitational pull will nudge it just a hair so that it doesn't hit us. All right, even though it's 100 years away, it doesn't matter. That's just one.
NASA is no stranger to pulling off the impossible, but this one is truly mind-blowing. They're sending a robotic spacecraft to catch up with a speeding asteroid and then bring pieces of that asteroid back to Earth. The name of the mission is a mouthful, so that's why NASA's going with OSIRIS-REx. The probe's target is an asteroid named Bennu, which is on NASA's watch list of potentially hazardous asteroids, meaning that there's a chance of it colliding with Earth. NASA says that the odds of that happening are about 1 in 2,500, and it wouldn't happen for more than 150 years. It will take 2 years for the OSIRIS-REx to catch up with Bennu. When it does, the probe won't land on the asteroid, but instead, it will study and observe Bennu from above for several months, taking pictures, mapping it, and monitoring its movement. In 2020 is when the real magic happens. That's when OSIRIS-REx will reach out its 11-foot-long robotic arm and make contact with the asteroid. NASA is hoping to collect about 2 ounces of these asteroid samples. By studying the return samples, NASA hopes to gain insight into the role asteroids played in bringing the building blocks of life to Earth.
And when he had opened the 7th seal, there was silence in heaven about a space of a half an hour. And I saw the 7 angels which stood before God, and to them were given 7 trumpets. And another angel came and stood at the altar, having a golden censer, and there was given unto him much incense, that he should offer it with the prayers of the saints upon the golden altar, which was before the throne. And the smoke of the incense, which came with the prayers of the saints, ascended up before God out of the angel's hand. And he took the censer and filled it with fire of the altar, and cast it into the earth. And there was voices and thunders and lightnings, and an earthquake. And the 7 angels which had the 7 trumpets prepared themselves to sound. The first angel sounded, and there followed hail and fire mingled with blood, and they were cast upon the earth, and a third part of the trees was burned up, and all the green grass was burned up. The second angel sounded, and as it were a great mountain burning with fire was cast into the sea, and a third part of the sea became blood, and a third part of the creatures which were in the sea and had life died, and the third part of the ships were destroyed. And the third angel sounded, and there fell a great star from heaven, burning as it were a lamp, and it fell upon a third part of the rivers, and upon the fountains of waters. And the name of the star was called Wormwood. And the third part of the waters became wormwood, and many men died of the waters, because they were made bitter. And the fourth angel sounded, and the third part of the sun was smitten, and a third part of the moon, and a third part of the stars. So as the third part of them was darkened, and the day shone not for a third part of it, and the night likewise. And these are the 4 trumpets of the coming meteor. For that is exactly how it would work out if a meteor was coming upon the earth. They would aim their missiles and bombs at the meteor, and they would try to destroy it. But all they would do is break it into pieces. Hence the first trumpet sounded, and it was hail and fire mingled with blood. The smaller stones would be hail falling to the earth with fire. Trails behind them, striking cities and people, killing them, causing the blood. hints, fulfilling the first trumpet. And of course the meteor would still come down to the earth and fall into the ocean. And the second angel sounded, and as it were a great mountain burning with fire was cast into the sea. And it would destroy a third part of the creatures and a third part of the vessels and ships were destroyed. And after this happens, of course, it would poison all the rivers and streams that were in the area, fulfilling the third trumpet. And the third angel sounded, and there fell a great star from heaven, burning as it were a lamp. And it fell into a third part of the rivers and upon the fountains of water. And it poisoned the waters and made them bitter. And of course, if a meteor hits the ocean like that, it's going to create a dust cloud around the earth, fulfilling the fourth trumpet, which says, and the fourth angel sounded, and a third part of the sun was smitten, and a third part of the moon, and a third part of the stars were darkened. This is exactly what would happen. And the four trumpets describing the coming meteor that's coming and about to hit the ocean. This is describing a meteor hitting the ocean, hitting the earth, and all the effects that follow. It describes it perfectly.